Hey, come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Nickel, nickel. Hey, rip. Hey, rip.
One thing I do like though, every time I did, look at your you get to that. That's how you get it back. That's how you get it back, boy.
Love y'all boys, man. Riding down.
Linebacker Shaq Quarterman mic'd up in the first preseason game last week, a guy who is having a great training camp and is really going to add to this depth of the linebacker core here this preseason. Welcome into Jaguars Drive Time. Ashlyn, Sullivan, and Brian Sexton here with you. You can check out that mic'd up on Jaguars.com.
I like Shaq.
Another one for you tomorrow night, because tomorrow night is preseason game number 2, the first home game here in a very long time, the first home game for Doug Peterson. And I go back to the draft party, and you saw the look on Coach Peterson's face when he walked out on the stage and he saw this mass of Jaguars fans. I can imagine tomorrow is going to be a pretty cool moment for him.
Yeah, he missed football last year. I mean, I think he enjoyed, and he talked when they hired him about all the life experiences, the loss of his brother, I think the addition of a grandchild. I mean, all of the things that happened in his life, he was able to be connected to like coaches generally are during the football season. However, he missed the game.
Yeah. And
you can see that. You could hear it in his voice in January. You've seen it throughout the offseason, and I expect we'll see it tomorrow night.
Absolutely. So let's get into big things.
Let's go.
Shall we? Very big thing one is starters. We are going to see the starters for the Jaguars tomorrow night for a couple of series tomorrow night at 7 o'clock when the Jaguars take on the Browns. We're also going to see Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson. That's a whole another topic that we're going to get into. But Coach Doug Peterson, what is your philosophy on playing these starters tomorrow night?
This week I'm going to let the starters play, get their feet wet a little bit in this football game, a couple series, nothing too crazy, nothing too long, but just want to get them the feel of the game and get them in there and get them working, in game situations.
Big thing, too, is live. Last Sunday's training camp practice was the most intense training camp practice we have seen in years, and that is because it was live tackling to the ground. We're going to see that again this upcoming Monday. Coach Peterson has it planned out for 2 days in training camp. So, safety Cisco, what is the benefit of a live training camp practice?
It's probably what you get the least when it comes to practicing football. So, when you get these practices to embrace that, and he says it's on go, like everybody's gonna be on the same type of time. I embrace that, and I'm glad that we get to do it because, I would say you need a few times before the game just to know set your pads is how they like to say it, and so I agree. I think it's good.
And finally, big thing 3 is competition. Now is the time in training camp where we're going to start crunching numbers and try to figure out who is going to make this final roster. On Saturday is the first cut day. It goes from 90 to an 85-man roster. And one position we're really going to pay attention to is that last wide receiver spot, whether they keep 5, maybe 6, someone like a Tim Jones, Jeff Cotton, Press Taylor. Who is going to get that job?
They're battling. They're in the conversation for it. There's going to be a lot of factors involved. You kind of want to see as you get through to the 4th, 5th, 6th receiver, what their versatility can be. You know what I mean? You come in, you assume you have this starter, that starter, that starter. If somebody goes down, who can fill in? Do you fill in one spot? Can you fill in multiple spots? Do we have to move 3 guys to get you where you're comfortable? And then at the same time, if all things go well and you have 3, 4 really established receivers that are playing well, that 5th guy, sometimes his value becomes more special teams. There's not a lot of reps from a receiver standpoint, so who steps up? What is Heath and Luke's opinion of that guy and his ability in special teams, and how can he contribute to the team if he is to get that jersey on a Sunday?
Press Taylor on the wide receiver as a whole, and how many are going to make this team. A big note for tomorrow's game is Christian Kirk rolling his ankle a couple days ago. Will he play? That's uncertain as of now. He's going to be fine if he doesn't play. It's preseason game number 2. But with all these new additions, Brian, you would kind of like to see your offense as a whole together as one, a couple series.
Well, right. And so, I come from an era where guys played in the first preseason game, and they played in the last preseason game. You were smart about it, but you gave guys opportunities through the course of the entire preseason to get them ready. You just heard Cisco say that the contact part of the game is that which you don't get in practice. So you get to the season, you want to be conditioned for it, right? So it's a little tough for me. Now, I'll go back to the post-game show last Thursday night, Friday morning with Doug Peterson, who I thought gave us a very insightful comment about his philosophy. He said 1 or 2 injuries in August can completely transform the way your season goes. So he's telling you, look, I want to get things done. I'm going to do live practices, but I'm going to be real cautious with it. So he said a couple series. I expect him to hold to that. A couple series, maybe 2.
Right.
If they get nothing done, maybe a 3rd. But these guys have got to get into the game and get tempo going.
Yeah.
It would be different if you were the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, right? Deep into the playoffs the last couple of years, a Super Bowl, you got Tom Brady. You don't need as much. Aaron Rodgers doesn't need as much. But this is a new coaching staff with a newly rebuilt offensive line? I think it is. A lot of new names and faces on defense. You'd like to get some time in August to work on those against the Browns and the Steelers and the Falcons.
Yeah, and maybe to a surprise to some is Travis Etienne getting back on the field. If it was up to Travis Etienne, he would have played last week, and you don't blame the coach.
If it was up to me, I would have played him a couple. And I don't blame him at all. You're going to hold your breath on him. And
until
Trevor,
you see it. Yeah.
You're going to hold your breath in August the entire time they're out there. It's just the way it goes. But they need it. They know they need it at this point in their career. Their time will come where you won't see those guys anywhere near a preseason
But
field.
they're far from that.
But they're not there yet.
Right. And Travis Etienne, such a moment for him. Basically an entire year of missing game action. And the guy we saw take a ton of hits in that live training camp portion, he's going to take some hits tomorrow as well. But you can just see the giddiness in his eyes. He's ready to get back out there.
I'm not generally a skeptical person, but I was really skeptical of his ability to be where he is right now. It's a major injury. I know we've said it before. Corey Grant in 2018 had the exact same injury in Kansas City, and we never saw him again.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know what he's doing now. Yeah.
No, I never even saw him in the building again. Normally you see the guys rehabbing, right? So here's a guy who relies on that first step explosiveness like Corey Grant did. And to see where he is right now, well, it's a testament to him, to the doctors, to the coaching staff, and the way they've worked him back into this. You're going to hold your breath on him the first time he gets up off the field, and the next time probably. But he's a running back. It's what they do. Get him out on the field, get him used to the contact, 2-3 series, and then get him out.
Right. And as we are holding our breath on the training camp field, when he took the hardest hit I've ever seen in my life, and that's with standing on a game field every Sunday, Trevor Lawrence is like, oh, yeah, he's fine. He'll pop back up. No big deal.
Yeah.
And I'm like... being dramatic on the sideline, is he going to get up?
It's not the contact that causes the problem most of the time, right? It's getting your foot stuck somewhere in the field. The contact, these guys are used to the contact.
So really quickly before we exit to big things, one thing that we are all going to pay attention to with binoculars is the starting offensive line. When they go out for the first series, the position battle we're paying the most attention to is right tackle. Is Jawan Taylor or Walker Little going to run out first? And whoever it is, I think, tells you momentum of who has that lead job.
I don't have any doubt who will do it in September. I don't know, because you know how coaches play motivational games with players to get them going. That, right there, Walker Little is your right tackle. He just has better lateral movement. He's quicker than Jawan Taylor. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but Jawan Taylor belongs inside. That's where I think he is best served. Sounds like he's going to be the swing tackle if he doesn't win the job, right?
Right.
But Walker Little has had a sensational camp. He has looked tremendous from the start to the finish. Now, that could change. He could go out and play very poorly if he has to line up and Myles Garrett is in the game at all on
great
Friday
test,
night.
Right?
100%. And I think he'll do okay. Things can change, but from what I've seen, I think Walker Little is your right tackle. And he's your right tackle for a long time. You're set there now.
Right. And all you can ask for is an opportunity if you're Walker Little.
Right.
And here it is. If you're the guy to walk out, go line up against a great Browns defensive front and prove you're the guy.
Based on what I've seen, 100%. Based on what I've seen right now, if they made him the starting tackle and say he's won the job, I'd go, absolutely, I've seen that. Right. I wouldn't go, well, hold on, we haven't seen enough of Jawan Taylor. We've seen Jawan the last couple of years. We know what his strengths are. We know where he needs to get better. Walker Little has played really well.
Yeah, and it doesn't help that Jawan Taylor was fighting an injury last week.
No.
But these things happen, and then it's the next man up where Walker Little was right there.
But I want to say again, everyone's so sensitive to Jawan's feelings because Jawan is a great kid.
He is.
Right?
He's a great person.
And he was not happy last year when he was asked the question in a news conference, what do you think about playing guard? Well, I get paid to play tackle, right? I'm a tackle. It's no slight. The guy next to you makes $18 million a year, right? guards get paid. If you're a great player, you're going to get paid. But you might not be a great right tackle in this league. You might be a great guard in this league, right? Don't be opposed to making $18 million and playing 3 feet to the left of where you've been
I'd be
playing.
okay with that, yeah.
I would too.
You think?
I mean, Juwan's a great kid. This is not personal. It's just objective. What you see in Walker Little is a pure tackle. And what I see in Juwan Taylor is a mauling guard.
Yeah, and who's going to be the better guy tomorrow? That's the key.
Yep.
All right, that is big things when we come back. Nathan Zegura, Browns color analyst on Cleveland Browns Radio, joins us on Jaguars Drive Time.
You can step up to luxury now.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields. Whatever you're driving, you can step up to luxury now. Plus, get our Fields amenities, which include complimentary loaners, car washes, and our cafes.
Make this your year to step up to luxury at Fields Cadillac, Mercedes-Benz, Porsche, Land Rover, Jaguar, and Lexus. When it comes to the ultimate car buying experience, there's only one name that matters: Fields. And Fields matters because you matter. The Fields Auto Group, proud partners of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jags fans, Shaquille Griffin of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I know you love when we put the QB in his place with a big interception, and now Luray Boyd Peanut Company is making every pick a winning play with the Peanut Pickoff. Every time the Jaguars make a pick, Luray Peanuts is going to donate to youth football initiatives throughout the Southeast, and the Jaguars Foundation will match every dollar. We get one play closer to victory, and our kids get to train for a brighter future. Everyone wins, except for the other team's QB. But hey, that's his problem.
Hey Jags fans, Brian Sexton for Dreamfinders Homes. In a complex housing market, do decisions on the biggest purchase of your life stress you out? At Dreamfinders Homes, they can build the home of your dreams in one of their many communities in Northeast Florida. With a mortgage company in-house, they're here to assist you throughout the entire process. Choose from their wide range of single-family homes or townhomes from the 300,000s. Dreamfinders Homes specializes in homes built to fit your lifestyle. Call 904-590-2545 or visit dreamfindershomes.com.
Move Day is Jacksonville's most dependable and caring local moving company. Move Day is proud to be the official moving company of the Jacksonville Jaguars. To get a free instant quote, call 844-MY-MOVE-DAY or visit movedaymovers.com. We're back, Jaguars Drive Time. Just like good old days, it is time for He Will, He Won't, He Might, the day before a game, which isn't always how it goes, but we're previewing who we think is going to have a big game tomorrow for the second preseason game. A guy we just talked a lot about, and big things. It bears merit.
I went heavy on Walker Little, and he's my He Will, He Won't, He Might. So he will be the starting right tackle for this football team. He has had a tremendous camp, as I mentioned earlier. He's just very fluid. His feet are light. His hips are fluid. He moves well. He gets outside. He can redirect and do all the things that you hear offensive line coaches do. He is a guy who has a long and bright future playing offensive tackle in the league. He won't disappoint if he sees Myles Garrett tomorrow night. Myles Garrett is the best big pass rusher, I think, in the game today. 16 sacks last season, 58.5 the last 4 years.
Jeez.
He has just been a tremendous player since being taken first overall by the Browns. And I don't think that Walker Little will struggle. I mean, look, Myles Garrett makes a lot of people struggle. He beats people. But I think this would be a great opportunity if he gets in a couple rounds against him. Again, it's the preseason. We don't know. But he won't be overmatched by that. And he might be the most interesting guy in the locker room. I mean, he went to Stanford, so you know he's a really bright guy. Did you know that he was high school teammates with Kayla Chase at Episcopal in Houston?
I did not.
No, right. He's smart, he's funny, he's witty. He's very interesting to talk to.
Yes.
He might be one of the most underrated interviews in the locker room. We didn't talk to him a lot last year. He didn't play a lot last year, just started 3 games. But I think we'll talk to him more this year if he's the starting right tackle. And he might be that guy that becomes a go-to guy because he's very candid.
He is.
He'll tell you exactly what he thinks, whether he should or shouldn't. You know, veterans they know how to say the right thing, and coaches. Walker just gives you a look like, well, that's the truth, right?
Yeah.
Which I love. Please give me young players who just know to say what they know, right?
Yeah, funny enough, last week's game was the first time locker room was open to media in 2 years,
2019.
3 years.
Yeah.
And we went right up to Walker Little, and here comes Brandon Sheriff to pull out his phone and document that Walker Little was talking to this scrum of media.
Right.
They have this weird rule where if you're an offensive lineman, God forbid, you talk to
They like
media.
to find each other right. They call themselves the Mushroom Society. I can't tell you why on the air, but
Yeah. Meanwhile, they're some of the best talkers and best insightful interviews you can get on the team.
100%.
Coach Rauscher is
because
phenomenal.
they have an understanding of what everyone around them is doing, right? So they have to be well versed in what's going on, and I love their insight.
I do too, and I think it's funny, the little joke. Who knows if they actually get fined or not? But if so, Walker Little was getting a big one because he had like 30 media members around him.
Well, the league had to step in Denver in the late 90s when Gary Zimmer was the starting left tackle because Gary was literally fining the Broncos offensive line. They had Terrell Davis and John Elway, and they were, this was the best team in the AFC.
You had to
and
talk.
None of the offensive linemen were talking, so the league had to send him a fine. I mean, it became a big deal.
You want to get fined? How about from the league?
It's not the first time offensive linemen have not wanted. And by the way, did anybody think that the offensive line without Brandon Linder, who never wanted to talk, would become less talkative?
Right.
Love
Very funny.
you, Brandon.
All right, my he will, he won't, he might is safety Andre Cisco. He will take a giant leap this season starting tomorrow night. This is your starting safety. And a couple months ago, we couldn't say that with confidence. Now, watching a couple weeks of training camp practice as he takes every rep with the ones, he will be your starting safety. He will take a giant leap because he's just getting more reps. He's playing more, so of course he's going to take a giant leap. He won't forget the weirdness, I guess you can say, of last season. I thought he was incredibly candid, and he didn't throw anyone under the bus yesterday in his press conference, but he did say, yeah, it was a little weird. I didn't get the reps that I was hoping I was going to get last season. Old coaching staff didn't feel like he was ready, didn't feel like he needed those reps. He said, I'm coming off an ACL injury. I would have loved to have played more last year. Hey, here's his chance. But he's not going to forget the weirdness of last year and how he didn't get the reps that we all thought he deserved, at least a chance to play more last year. He might have had the hardest hit I've ever seen in my entire life against Travis Etienne. He said he went back and watched the tape on the hit of Travis Etienne and said, oh yeah, that was a little harsh. But he said, I'm not going to apologize for it because that's what I do. I'm supposed to hit guys hard.
This takedown of Josh Jacobs in the open field, right? And NFL running backs, especially starting caliber running backs like this, they can make guys look bad. And he made open field tackle after open field tackle. That one's on Zahir White. I was super impressed. And again, I didn't see enough from him last year to know. I knew his reputation from Syracuse was ball hawk. I think he had 13 takeaways in his 3 years there before the ACL. He looks like he belongs in the middle of the field. The knock on him last year was he didn't want to hit, but I think clearly we saw that's not the issue.
Yeah.
I think what the issue really was that he wasn't getting the reps and he was coming off the ACL and he didn't necessarily know exactly what to do, right? Which is what happens to a lot of young players,
right?
Is that they're not sure, so what do? They play slow. Mm-hmm. They play tentative.
Right.
He's playing anything but slow or tentative this year. We've seen it through one game. I expect. Again, we don't know who's going to play for the Browns tomorrow night. They haven't laid it all out. If Deshaun Watson's playing, I guess Nick Chubb might play. Mm-hmm. If that's the case, good. Right? Let's see him go up and hit Nick Chubb. Right?
And you see for Andre Cisco, you understand the playing slow. It's because you're not getting the reps to improve. And if this is a draft pick that you believe in, it might be costly a couple games, but
people
he's got to play.
People might forget, Ashlyn, that this was a guy who had first-round grades on him before the ACL. Mm-hmm. Then the ACL comes, he slides to the third round. Kind of like Walker Little, right?
Right.
Walker had the knee injury in 19, didn't play in 20. All of a sudden, here he comes. He's starting to play well. Those are some value picks because they're great young players with upside.
And we're seeing it pay off now.
And right now, it looks good.
And that is He Will, He Won't, He Might, presented by Move Day, coming up on Jaguars Drive Time. A look into the Cleveland Browns and what is all going on in Cleveland. Nathan Zegura, Browns color analyst, joins us next.
You can step up to luxury now.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields. Whatever you're driving, you can step up to luxury now. Plus, get our Fields amenities, which include complimentary loaners, car washes, and our cafes.
Make this your year to step up to luxury at Fields Cadillac, Mercedes-Benz, Porsche, Land Rover, Jaguar, and Lexus. When it comes to the ultimate car buying experience, there's only one name that matters: Fields. And Fields matters because you matter. The Fields Auto Group, proud partners of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey Jags fans, Brian Sexton for Dreamfinders Homes. In a complex housing market, do decisions on the biggest purchase of your life stress you out? At Dreamfinders Homes, they can build the home of your dreams in one of their many communities in Northeast Florida. With a mortgage company in-house, they're here to assist you throughout the entire process. Choose from their wide range of single-family homes or townhomes from the 300,000s. Dreamfinders Homes specializes in homes built to fit your lifestyle. Call 904-590-2545 or visit dreamfindershomes.com.
Move day is on the 20, the 10. Yes, another successful move to a new home. I tell you, folks, I've never seen a team more prepared than the Move Day crew. With a dominating lead in training, trust, and moving efficiency, it's no wonder why Move Day is the official moving company of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Track your goods online and get updated play-by-plays throughout your move process. While the Jags are moving the chains on game day, they're here to help you on moving day. Call 844-MY-MOVE-DAY or visit MoveDayMovers.com.
If you're a Jaguars fan on the go, we've got the ticketing plan for you. The bundle at the bank is designed to fit your schedule and save you money by creating your own custom plan. From celebrating Tony Baselli's Hall of Fame enshrinement on October 9th to cheering us on against the Dallas Cowboys on December 18th, you get the flexibility you want. Visit Jaguars.com for your bundle at the bank. We are back, Jaguars Drive Time, brought to you by the Fields Auto Group. It is Thursday. We are getting ready for our second preseason game against the Cleveland Browns tomorrow night, and no one knows the Cleveland Browns better than this guy, color analyst for the Cleveland Browns, Nathan Zegura, joins us now on Jaguars Drive Time. Good morning.
Good morning. Good to be down in Jacksonville and excited to finally see some football for the Browns. Got to watch the Jags, obviously, in the Hall of Fame game, but excited for game one of the Browns preseason this year.
Absolutely. We're excited to see some starters play. And my gosh, you have a storyline in Cleveland. We're hearing Deshaun Watson is going to play tomorrow night. Is that accurate? And what went into that decision?
Yeah, the expectation is that Deshaun Watson will start at quarterback for the Browns on Friday night against the Jags. And I think he hasn't played, right? He didn't play last season, as we know. And so you want to get him some live action against an opponent, in this case in the Jags. And good work if the Jags are going to play some of their starters as well. You know, you got Josh Allen on one side, Trevon Walker on the other. They can get after the quarterback a little bit. And so kind of get him those live reps, I think, will be very helpful. I don't think it'll be much. I think if he has one really good series where they go on, an 8-10 play drive and they get in the end zone, that'll probably be it. But otherwise, yeah, maybe you'll see a couple of series out there with Deshaun Watson just to get him some game action for the first time since that 2020 season.
So how's he looked? Has he looked like he hasn't played in more than a year, or is training camp just picking right back up where he left off at one point?
I mean, last time we saw him play, he leads the league in passing, completes over 70% of his passes. And he looks great, and I think it's kind of amazing given everything else that's going on. Not just the fact that he's been rusty and hasn't played football since the 2020 season, but given everything that's going on off of the field, his ability to lock in has been incredible. I can tell you that he is a very easy thrower of the football. He's an incredibly accurate thrower of the football. Talking to a lot of the guys on our defense, they say sometimes we feel like we have great coverage, and he just fits the ball in. So he has looked very much like the guy that you would expect to be a franchise quarterback and the guy that, as I said, led the league in passing in 2020. So, yeah, he's looked great. And for the Browns now, the hard part is you just don't know how much of Deshaun Watson you'll get in this 2022 season.
So, and I know that Kevin Stefanski has said they have a plan. They're going to stick to it. Has he detailed that? I mean, you've got a team loaded on defense, and they added so many key players on offense, obviously with the caveat of when the quarterback comes. What's their thought process, about getting Jacoby Brissett ready to go for whatever length of time he has to be ready to go?
Yeah, I think we'll see Deshaun this week, and then I think after this game, you will see a transition fully into getting Jacoby Brissett ready to go for this season. And Jacoby Brissett's a guy that obviously the Jags would know well, spending a couple of years there with the Indianapolis Colts, a veteran. They are very comfortable with Jacoby Brissett, but obviously the offense you're going to run with Jacoby Brissett is very different than the offense that you could run with Deshaun Watson at quarterback. In fact, with Jacoby, I think we'll see a lot of what we saw under Kevin Stefanski with Baker Mayfield the last two seasons, where some two tight ends, you lean on Nick Chubb, lean on Kareem Hunt, that great offensive line. You take shots where they're available and then rely on your excellent defense, as you pointed out. This is a very, very good roster, and this is a team that has absolutely the chance to go as far as they want, with the caveat being, I think with Jacoby Brissett, this can absolutely be a winning football team. With Deshaun Watson, this is a team that has a chance to compete deep into the postseason.
And of course, everyone will be watching Deshaun Watson, us included. The entire NFL is going to watch that. But I know there's other storylines you will be paying attention to. Is there a matchup or a player that Jaguars fans should know about for tomorrow night?
Yeah, I think, I wouldn't expect to see Nick Chubb or Kareem Hunt, but for the Browns running the football, Dearness Johnson is an incredibly talented running back. And last year when he had to fill in for us on offense on Thursday night against the Denver Broncos, rushed for over 100 yards, was the FedEx Ground Player of the Week in a big Browns win. So he's somebody that you'll certainly get a look at. But really from guys that need to step up, I'll give you a couple of names there. Number one on offense, Anthony Schwartz, and I'll even say David Bell. Our third-round pick last year was a receiver, Schwartz. Our third-round pick this year was a receiver in David Bell out of Purdue, who was the best receiver in the Big Ten last season. Those two guys are going to be very important because our wide receiver room behind Amari Cooper and Donovan Peoples-Jones is really it's largely unproven. It's a lot of young guys who have not done much in the league. So those are some guys to watch offensively. Defensively, I think we have a couple of really good young corners. Greg Newsome, our first-round pick a year ago, who got his kind of first action last year in Jacksonville going against Marvin Jones. That gave him a lot of confidence. And then we have a guy, MJ Emerson, who was our third-round pick this year out of Mississippi State. 6'2", he can run. He is one of the best cover guys in the SEC. In fact, he was targeted on only 13% of his cover snaps a year ago. And I know our coaches are very excited about what he's shown so far. So, getting to go against Trevor Lawrence and hopefully some of those receivers, with Christian Kirk coming in the mix and Marvin Jones, and Zay Jones and Laviska Shenault, this should be a good test for our secondary. And I think we've got some good young guys on the back end of this defense.
Great to hear it. And just confirming, you don't believe that starting running backs will see them tomorrow night, correct? We're breaking news.
Yeah,
here.
it's Kevin Stefanski worded it that we will see a lot of the starters. I think that you could imagine a scenario in which, Nick Chubb's not going to play, or Myles Garrett or Clowney, the guys that have done it. And I'd even put Kareem Hunt potentially in that group, guys that have done it at a high level in the league that we need these guys ready for week one. We know they put in the work. We know they're going to be ready. Those are the people we need to see in week one rather than in the preseason.
Gotcha. Well, that makes sense. Well, Nathan, we'll see you in Jacksonville tomorrow night. Thank you so much for joining us on Jaguars Drive Time.
Always a pleasure. 2 years in a row. Maybe we'll do it another year there in 2023.
You can book it. Yes. We'll schedule you in now. Thank you, Nathan. More to come right here on Jaguars Drive Time.
You can step up to luxury now.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields. Whatever you're driving, you can step up to luxury now. Plus, get our Fields amenities, which include complimentary loaners, car washes, and our cafes.
Make this your year to step up to luxury at Fields Cadillac, Mercedes-Benz, Porsche, Land Rover, Jaguar, and Lexus. When it comes to the ultimate car buying experience, there's only one name that matters: Fields. And Fields matters because you matter. The Fields Auto Group, proud partners of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey Jags fans, Brian Sexton for Dreamfinders Homes. In a complex housing market, do decisions on the biggest purchase of your life stress you out? At Dreamfinders Homes, they can build the home of your dreams in one of their many communities in Northeast Florida. With a mortgage company in-house, they're here to assist you throughout the entire process. Choose from their wide range of single-family homes or townhomes from the 300,000s. Dreamfinders Homes specializes in homes built to fit your lifestyle. Call 904-590-2545 or visit dreamfindershomes.com.
At VyStar Credit Union, you inspire us to deliver on our promise, to do good for our members and our communities. That's why we offer more banking options, like better rates and no hidden fees. We also give back, donating several $1 million to hundreds of nonprofits each year. Better financial lives, stronger communities. VyStar Credit Union. Do good. Bank better. Visit vystarcu.org/join. Insured by NCUA.
A little fun bet for the year, and I would be a heavy underdog in it, but I'll take it. I'll take the Jags season win total straight up versus the Patriots season win total. I think the Jags will win as many or more games than the New England Patriots.
Not a terrible take on first things first yesterday. Welcome back to Jaguars Drive Time. One more segment for you, and we're hearing that more as training camp goes on. You hear all these positive, optimistic stories coming out of Jacksonville, and kind of like in New England, Mac Jones, they're saying not looking as good. Now all of a sudden people are starting to bet on these season win totals.
Well, I thought was interesting was the facial reaction by the other three folks.
How could you
right.
think that?
And, in those network folks don't spend a lot of time looking at Jacksonville.
Right.
There's a lot of reasons to be optimistic. That doesn't mean there aren't going to be some growing pains here as Doug gets his system going. But I really believe by the end of this season that more people around the league will look like that guy did. And I don't know his name. I'm sorry, do you?
On First Things First?
Yeah, who that was?
I don't know that group.
There'll be more people that'll be looking. And the quarterback's obviously the reason. He's been tremendous so far. Mm-hmm. Folks will get their first look at him tomorrow night against the Cleveland Browns. But he's been aggressive. I like the way he's pushing it and pushing his team. He's in control.
He very much is. And I think coming off the Hall of Fame game against the Raiders, the biggest question was you saw them run really well against the Jaguars.
Right.
And I kept telling myself, okay, well, you got to see the starting defense. I know some defensive starters played. That's the biggest thing I'll be looking for tomorrow. If the Browns can run the ball, like we saw last week, all right, then you got a problem. And then you have something to improve on.
The Browns averaged 5.9 or 5.09, so 5.1 yards per rushing attempt last year. They run the ball, right?
Very
on
well.
everybody.
Right.
5 yards is insane. Led the league. So you're talking now about one of the best in the league, but they're not coming in with their guys.
Right.
So it'll be
just heard
interesting
Nick
to see.
Chubb's not gonna
But you bring Foye Oluokun in for that very reason. Right? And Foley Fatukasi for that very reason, to be able to shore up the run. We're not going to see Devin Lloyd. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks we'll get a chance to see him. Again, that's the growing pain. That's the growth curve that we still have to see. You got to get everybody on the field. You got to get them into the system. You got to get them reps. It might take a couple of weeks into the season for them to start looking like that team that guy was mentioning, but you can see the glimpses of it right now.
Right. Oh, my goodness. That's a lovely
is.
ringtone.
Yes.
We're going to see you on the
Pirates of the
preseason
Caribbean.
broadcast tomorrow night with Bucky Brooks
Yeah,
and
we're
Brent
getting ready to
Marno.
sit down and kind of go through all that here today and get ready for tomorrow. It's always fun in the preseason because Bucky does such a great job. He knows all the players on both rosters so well because his draft preparation is a big part of what he does at NFL Network.
Yes, we are excited to see him in the booth. He did a fantastic job last season, so give it another go, will you?
Yeah, here we go.
Here we go. All right, stay with us on Jaguars.com for preseason game number 2. We have all of your coverage tomorrow, starting with the Publix Tailgate Show. Stay with us, and we will see you next Monday back here on Jaguars Drive Time.